Leon Drew says his first Sasquatch encounter happened about 5 years ago.
I saw these, 6 foot tall, black from head to toe, skinny things cross the road just outside the headlights of my Jeep.
Drew started asking around and quickly found he wasn't the first to spot them.
Oh yeah, that's a couple of young Bigfoot in the area. We see them all the time.
His next Sasquatch encounter wouldn't happen until 2012 in Cripple Creek.
Memorial Day weekend, I was out hiking, walking out of a grove of aspens, and standing between 2 pine trees was this huge, hairy, bipedal creature.
And she wasn't alone.
Behind her, I could see there was like a group of pine trees almost in a circle. And my theory is maybe she was using it like a little playground, because I think these were 2 very young ones that were maybe just there playing.
Drew says he and the female Sasquatch stared at each other in silence for about 45 seconds. He then looked down to grab his camera, and just like that, she was gone.
And just standing there, probably with a dumb look on my face, but just amazed on what I just encountered.
He came back later to measure a branch he took note of and guesses she was about 7.5 feet tall and weighed between 400 and 600 pounds.
She was huge. Her arms hung down past her knees. Her face was partially covered with hair. Her mouth area had this gray skin tone to it, and I could tell that she was nervous and didn't quite know how to react, because I totally startled her.
That would be the last time Drew would have a face-to-face encounter, but not the last time he'd find evidence of their existence.
We had some unusual footprints appear in our driveway, probably 6 to 8 inches in diameter, 5 distinct toes, but just a round pad. And we have all the normal wildlife come through the yard, so I know what the prints look like.
Drew says sightings of Bigfoot in the region and on Pikes Peak go back centuries.
Oh, there's the Bigfoot.
Look at the size of this thing's feet.
It's got horns, like the devil, and there's one above it, too.
The Ute Indians called them the woods people. The whole Front Range, actually, is a great territory for them. Abundant food sources, abundant water sources, isolated areas.
So we decided to head back out into the woods for another Squatch Watch, this time near the Crags in Divide.
Evidence collection bags, tweezers so I don't contaminate with I find evidence. Oh, I'd love to run into another one. Now, here's something we're looking for. It's scat is probably the nicest term we'd use for it.
What does Sasquatch scat look like?
Turn around the next time you're in the ladies' room.
Drew says the Pikes Peak region is the perfect habitat for a Sasquatch.
We think that they follow the herds of the deer and the elk, so they're following the food source. There has been reports over at the fluorescent fossil beds of footprints and people seeing creatures.
As we continue through the woods, we look for signs that Sasquatches have been here.
Right here, hanging in an aspen, is a half of a tree that's freshly broke. Can you see that? And if you look around, the bottom half of that tree is nowhere around. It would almost have to be thrown from up above to get in that position. That had to be intentionally done by someone or something.
We look for tree breaks and branches in unusual formations, like X's.
Some people think that the X's are used for maybe a territorial marker or a route marker.
We also try reaching out. But there's no answer. Still, Drew believes they're out there.
Beautiful time of year for them. There has been activity reported in here numerous times. I've had my own experience with walking through our camp, so it would not be surprising at all.
Now the question is, do you?
Pay attention when you're in the woods. You'd be surprised what you see.